Today, we're putting a variety of kitchen tools such as fork, spoon, hand mixer, even a chopstick into a case and then rank them how well they do in Whisking Matcha. So keep watching. Hi there, I'm Kimi, your matcha crazy friend and the certified tea sommelier. Welcome to my little cozy matcha cafe. If you enjoy watching video about how to make matcha drinks at food, make sure you click that like button. That shows me to make more videos for you. So click that like button. So lots of customers, especially people who are new to matcha, always ask me if they need to invest in a bamboo whisk because bamboo whisk can be quite pricey. And they ask if they can use simple tools to make matcha instead. So if you want the best result, if you want a smooth tasting matcha without bugs, I still highly recommend that you invest into a chassis, a bamboo whisk, as well as a sifter. Okay, so now we know it's the best to use a bamboo whisk and a sifter. How about other tools? So here we have some basic items that are commonly found in your kitchen and see how well they do in mixing matcha. I'm going to use the same amount of powder, same amount of matcha powder, which is half tablespoon, same type of matcha, and we're gonna sift it through the sifter just to be consistent, and add 100 milliliters of warm water, and then mix it using the tools that we have. And then after I mix, I will strain it through a sifter again. So for example, if I mix it in here, I will pour it onto another sifter and then see how much clump that we have. And this will help me understand how those kitchen tools can help breaking up the clumps in matcha. And then rank them by texture, clumpiness, and ease of use. So the first one, we're gonna try it out with fork. I don't know why so many people wanna do it with fork. Maybe because the tights on the fork that's similar to the bristle on the bamboo whisk. And then they think they can break up the matcha using the fork. So let's try it out. Oh my god. Here. Fork, zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Okay. Let's do this. Not bad, could be worse. So we tried mixing matcha with a fork. I would say the texture is okay. When I poured it out, the liquid is pretty nice and clear on the bottom. And the clumpiness, definitely when I first whisking it, I didn't get to every corner of it. So the clumpiness was pretty bad. And then, but I try to whisk at different directions. The clump got broken up over time. Ease of use. It's a little loud. I find when I was mixing it, it's really loud and my wrist got a bit hurting. But if you're used to like mixing things with a fork, I think it's okay. So overall, I would give it a C. Experiment number 2, spoon. I guess when you don't have any other utensils, spoon is the most readily available one. So let's give a try and see how it goes. All right. Okay, so here comes in the result of mixing with a spoon. This is definitely a no, 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 no. It's just not good. Like when I'm mixing it, I can see the clumps get really clogged up and then clinging onto the side of the glass. So the texture is really bad. Clumpiness, you can see that compare those two sifters. There's a huge amount of clumps get caught on the sifter, which mixed by the spoon. Now make it a lot more forgiving for the one with the fork. This one is more like kind of mushy texture, and this one is like straight up clumps. And even some clumps didn't get broken up, and then you can still see the dry powder inside the clumps. So that means the powder is not incorporated into your liquid at all. For me, I feel like this is also a waste of money because you're just missing out all the matcha powder there. And ease of use is not good. Like it's impossible for you to not to smear, not to smooth out all the clumps, but it's gonna take whatever. So yeah, spoon is out of my equation. I will give it a straight B. If you find any value in this video so far, please support me by clicking the like button and leave matcha in the comment section below for YouTube algorithm. This truly helped me grow the channel so I can make more videos like this for you. So go ahead and poke that like button and comment matcha below. Experiment number 3, a metal whisk or a hand whisk or an egg beater, whatever you want to call it. I have a lot of faith in it, especially if you're a baker at home, you must have this in the store. So let's try it out and see how well it works.
A little bit on the side. It's pretty good. Wow.
Okay, so now we tried mixing matcha with the metal whisk. It's actually my maybe second time trying it, and the result really surprises me. There's a very, very minimal amount of cups get caught on the sifter, and the texture is actually really smooth, and there's not too many clumps. The only thing I find is it doesn't give you the frothiness compared to a bamboo whisk, because it's not as fine. The count of the bristle is not as many as the bamboo whisk, so it doesn't give you the frothiness or the foaminess a typical bamboo whisk would give you. But this is, I would say, a straight B. Experiment number 4, chopstick. I've had customers told me they tried it with chopstick. Well, I don't have high hope for it, but I'm really confident about my chopstick skills. So let's test it out.
The bottom is really sad.
Okay, so now we're done with the chopsticks. It's a really fun experiment to do. And it smells really good because they're really kind of like aerating the matcha, incorporating the air, and then bring out the aroma. Texture-wise, it's not bad. So when I poured it out, I can see the liquid is really smooth. And clumps, it's very minimal amount of clumps that get caught through the sifter. However, I think because the point is really fine at the tip of the chopstick, so the chopstick doesn't actually get all the matcha powder from the bottom, so I end up with super tasty, fluffy matcha on the bottom, which is really sad. I think the fork and chopsticks are actually quite similar, so I will also rank it as a C. Experiment number 5, blender. I've heard a lot of people using a blender for matcha, so let's try it together and see how well it works. So this is the last but not the least, the blender. It works incredibly well. You can see there's absolutely no clumps whatsoever. The texture is actually really smooth. It even creates a really nice froth at the top. Really easy. I only blended for about 9 seconds, so really fast. Sometimes you don't even need to sift. It blend up the clumps even without sifting. So compared to all the other tools, this is definitely an A. Okay, so now we try 5 different basic kitchen tools that's commonly available in anyone's kitchen. Surprisingly, the metal whisk works a lot better than I thought, and clearly the spoon didn't work, the spoon was terrible, the fork and the chopstick are equally bad, but the blender works out very well. So I would say it's almost on par with the traditional chasson, like a bamboo whisk. But for blender, it's not portable, so you can't really take it with you. So I would say if you want to make matcha on the go, the bamboo whisk is definitely a lot better. But if you're at home and then if you have a blender, then use a blender to blend your matcha. Okay, there you have it. Now, we went through a lot in a short period of time, and it's hard for me to show you everything in details. If you enjoy videos like this showing you the history about matcha, the processing methods, and step-by-step matcha recipes, make sure you hit the subscribe button so I can make more videos like this for you. If you have any questions, make sure to leave us a comment in the comment section below. See you in the next video.